the Creative Inkster. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been here live with you. Took a nice, well-needed, restful vacation last week, so I hope you caught some of the videos that I posted for you. If not, head on back on my page and you'll see them there. I'm not sure if I've ever pointed this out before, but where you see this at the top, that's my website if you want to make a purchase through Stampin' Up! Directly and it ships to your home. You can use your credit card. And then if you would include this host code, then I will send you a card as a thank you and a small gift if your order is over $60. So please take note of that if you're in a buying mood, as we all are online. Tonight's card is an arrow fold card, and I'm excited to show you how to make it. It's pretty easy. I had to deconstruct this lovely card I received in the mail from Lisa Henderson, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator friend of mine from outside of Kingston area. She sent this as a swap card, and I thought it was so cool. And yeah, you could cover this up if you wanted to, but I love how the arrow looks on this. It's a lot of simple supplies, not a lot of extra work, so I'm excited to show you. From Lisa's, I made this one as a swap card for my team in our monthly swap. I love this paper from Celebration. And so tonight I played around again and made this version. I'm going to show you how to make this guy with some more Celebration paper. Are you ready to get started? Let's get going. So you need some standard pieces and then some non-standard pieces for a card. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, so it's your standard card base. We're going to score it in a couple of places, but just off the bat, we're going to score it at 4 1/4 along the long side. That's halfway across the 8.5 measurement. So if you never thought you're going to use all that math you learned in grade 10, this is when you're going to use it. All right, so we've got a score line across the middle. That's our card base. And then we have a piece of patterned paper that goes on the front. And you want to pick a piece that is equally nice on both sides. And if you've got, well, matching, I should say equally nice, matching. Hi, Vicki. You want so that if one of them has an obvious up or down, that the other side doesn't, because we're flipping the other pieces over. So this piece here, this is the back side of it. Otherwise, you got to cut an extra piece. So that's what I'm going to make as a suggestion. This piece is not your standard size. It is 5 by 4. Normally we make it 5 1/4 by 4 to be a layer. This is 5 by 4. And that's because as you stick it on here, you're creating some layer pieces, and so you're losing a little bit of the measurement. So there's our piece of pattern paper, 5 by 4, and then a piece of white or vanilla, pardon me, that also is 4 inches wide by 5. And we're going to cut this basically the same way. All right, and then something to put on the front as your greeting, or you could put a stamped or die cut image there too. I'm going to go with the greeting again. I'm going to use the same one I did in my sample. Radio, let's get a ruler and a pencil out. I realize I picked a piece of navy, so that's a dark color, but I'm going to give you the markings. So with your piece of paper that is 8.5 across the top, you've already scored it at 4 1/4. That's our fold line. We're now going to measure from the fold line down to the right 2 1/8 of an inch. 2 1/8 of an inch, and put a little pencil mark, just enough that you can see it. You can erase it later. And then do the same thing on the other end of the paper. So again, from the fold to the outside edge, 2 1/8. And you're going to turn it this way. You've got your 2 1/8 inch marks here. So along the bottom of the open end, you're going to put another pencil mark at 2 3/4. Basically what you've done is put pencil marks at halfway down and halfway across. That should be easy to remember, right? For sure. Now you could mark it up, or you could just put it in your paper trimmer and go. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to mark up the pencil or join the lines. I'm going to tell you what I did. So here's the fold. Okay, so looking at your card, here's your fold. Down at the bottom is your 2 3/4 inch mark. I'm going to stick that pencil mark in my track, and I'm going to slide this over so that the right hand edge of the fold of the card is up at the top and the 2 3/4 is at the bottom. And I'm going to score between those 2 points. So from the top of the fold, or from the fold at the right down to the center mark. While you're there, leave your center mark in the track and move your cardstock over so that your 2 1/8 inch mark from the fold down is now in the track. And that's where we're going to score. Now, if you've got a different type of scoring tool, you're just going to line those 2 points up and draw the lines. Just try to move that so you can see it. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So where the fold line is, this is your 8 1/2 long, you've got a 4 1/4. From that fold line in the left corner to the bottom pencil mark at 2 3/4, we're going to score. So you've got like a V happening here with your score lines. Now we're going to also go from that outside edge 2 1/8 to the bottom halfway mark. Okay, so now we have 2 score lines. See that? So this again, I'm going to fold it so you can see. That's the top fold. We scored at 2 1/8 on the left and right, and we scored at 2 3/4 at the bottom, and we lined those score marks up. Okay, cool. All right, that's done. And then we need to do some cutting. So here is our pattern paper, which is 5 inches wide by 4 inches long. And we are going to cut this at, I just want to see my notes here, at 2 and, just double check, cut into 2 1/2. Oh yeah, right, we need to mark this again. Right. So we got to mark this with our pencil and ruler as well. So it's 5 inches wide, half of that's 2 1/2. So we're going to mark it at 2 1/2. So that'll be the center part. You could fold it in half too if you didn't want to mark it. Just put a little pencil mark there. And then what I want to do is I'm going to cut from the outside edges into that point to create the point. That's a pretty easy cut. So with my pattern going the right way, top right corner is going in the track, and the pencil mark at the halfway along the bottom is going in the track, and I'm going to slice it off. I'm going to do the same thing from the other side, again from the bottom to the top outside point. I'm going to slice it off. Now you can watch this over again if you need to. All right, this is basically what we've done. We've taken a 5 by 4 and we've cut 2 triangles off. This is going to go on the front of our card, and these are going to flip over and change spots. They're going to go on the inside of the card. That's why you want your patterns to kind of match up nicely. If they're 2 very different patterns, you may not get the results you're looking for. All right, that's cut. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on a piece of white, because white matches my paper. If it was vanilla, I'd use vanilla. Along the 5-inch side, I'm going to put a pencil mark at 2 1/2. And I'm going to cut triangles from the pencil mark to the top right corner. So I just line this up in my paper trimmer, those 2 points, the center at 2 1/2 up to the outside corner. This piece I'm going to set aside and use for something else. I could probably use it for my greeting. I've already cut mine, but you could do that. And then again from that bottom center point to the outside corner, you're going to cut that triangle off. So this is what it looked like to begin with. 5 inches across by 4 inches tall. We put a pencil mark at 2.5 at the bottom, and we cut from the 2.5 to the outside corners. And you've got 2 pieces here to use for something else, and you've got your inside triangle. I'm sure I did not do well in geometry. I am sure that there is a whole term for these triangles. Rightio. Back to our card base. You're going to need some strong adhesive, and I'm going to recommend you use something like tear and tape. If you use liquid glue, you'll be standing there holding it for a while to make sure it stays down. Liquid glue is great. This just dries a whole lot faster. You could also use Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Seal Plus. All right, now the first time I made this today, because it's been a little while, I did do my fold incorrectly. So I'm going to open this to show you how to do it correctly, because that would be helpful. All right, with the top flap open, the larger triangle score line folds in. And same on the left side. So the larger of the 2 triangles folds in. You want to burnish it. Burnish it well. It'll make the gluing down easier. And do the same thing. I can't do this. I can't do this with my right hand on the left side. There we go. And now you're going to, with it folded over like that, you're going to fold the wing out, the smaller one out. Same here. You're going to fold the smaller one out. Don't worry if it doesn't line up perfectly. It's fine. Don't fuss over it. There's always that 1/32 millimeter of a centimeter of a little bit that never lines up nicely, and that's just the way life is. We have to get over it. All right, there we go. So that's our arrow point right there. Now it's time to glue those arrow points down so they stay put. That's an important piece to this. So to do that, I want to get adhesive down this edge here, because that edge, when I put it down, that whole edge is going to be hidden. I don't want to put it over here because then it'll flip open. So I'm going to put it down this edge where the first little flap is, first line is. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And it's going to come to a point where it's not going to go right into the top point. That's okay, because that is, my tape is too wide. Alrighty, I had scissors. I don't have scissors. They've flown the coop. Alright, if you glued this differently, that would be okay. I'm just showing you where I found the best place was to glue it together. Now, for gluing these 2 little wings down, you don't want to see the tape out here. So we want to glue the wings to, we don't want to put the glue on the wing. We want to put it on the longer part here, and we want to do it against this fold here. You'll figure this out. And you'll know it because, like me, you have done it wrong the first time around. So if you put a piece down and you fold it over, you can see what you have to do to fix it. I need to push this piece up to fix it. And again on this side, along the edge of the fold. Look, when I fold it over, I can't see any white, so I know I've got it in a good spot. Peel that off, push it down. Yeah, I should have put this one a little bit closer. But the important thing is that you don't see the adhesive behind. So if you flip it over and you can see some adhesive, just push it up. Okay? And there you go. There's your point glued down. See what I mean? If you were using liquid glue, you'd have to like hold it and clamp it and all that kind of stuff. All right, that's the hard part of this fold done. It's just a fold and a glue down. Now we can do the decorating. I'm going to make this a little bit flatter. Alrighty, we're going to take that pattern paper triangle, where'd it go, that we made, and you'll see which way it needs to go, because it won't be even if you don't do it the way that it was cut. Alright, and it's going to have a little bit of the cardstock as a border around it. See that? There's a little bit here too. Okay, so then we can just use our favorite adhesive, whatever that is for you. glue, liquid glue, whatever. Okay, and then we put this point down. And doesn't this look fancy? Like really fancy, honestly. All right, you could put a layer of white on the inside fully and then just put your little triangles in after if you want. But I did them as 3 separate pieces, so I'd have some nice blue border around all the pieces. So these ones were originally cut from that 4x5. I turned them over and swapped places so that they would fit in these bottom corners. All right, so we're going to glue those down first. Whoop, hello. Get the glue going. Get the glue going. There we go. I want to leave a little border. You can measure this up as closely as you like. I really didn't think it took very long to make this up when I was doing it as a swap card for my team. It really didn't take that long, not compared to other cards with lots of coloring and such on them, or stamping and layering. But it's cool. It's a really cool card layout. Okay, I feel like it's down a little bit further than the one on the right, so let's pop it up a little bit. A little trick for you, not sure it works so well with liquid glue, but with the other glues, if you find you haven't positioned it exactly where you want, you can breathe on the edge with just with your breath, or you can use the heat tool, and that will soften up the glue a little bit, then you can easily peel it off. Not so easy with liquid glue. Love my liquid glue, but it may not work so well for that. And then here is this top triangle, which, there we go. I just want to get it going the right way. You'll know which is the right way if you get it turned around, because it won't fit with an even blue border around it or color of your cardstock border. Hi, Brenda. That's okay. I took a little time off, and so I'm sure people get moving on to other things. Plus, it's summer, and people are doing stuff and enjoying the outside, although it's awfully darn hot out there today. I'm telling you. My backyard got finished. I got the fence done, the sod put down, the gardens put in. I'm telling you, well, I make it sound like I did it. I didn't. I hired a landscaping company to do it, but I'm thrilled with the work that they did. They just did an awesome job. All right, so what I'm going to do for my greeting is I'm going to take from Ringed with Nature. This bundle goes with this celebration paper. So when you get the bundle for $72.75, you can get the whole paper pack for free. I'm going to use one of these leaves, actually, I think it's this one. And I'm going to stamp that in a really light color, which is soft sea foam, to match the other color in this paper pack. And then I'm going to stamp the greeting on top. Now I'm just using my little ink spot that is Night of Navy, because my regular ink pad's all packed for my class on Thursday. I'm heading out to teach a class in Breslau, my monthly card class there at the community center, and I've got it all packed up, and I have my little ink spot to work with. So I'm just going to try to line this up. There we go, just for you. So that works great. What a super greeting, right? Goes for birthday, goes for a gift, can go for anything. So that's stamped on there. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back and stick it on a circle that it mats onto. So the scallop circle is from the Layering Circles dies, and I've paired it up with this stitched circle from a newer set that's in the new annual catalog, and it is called it's a new set of circle die, well, actually shapes dies, but they're stitched, which makes them really nice. Stylish Shapes dies, these ones up top here, they're squares, flagged end ones, and a whole bunch of circles, and they are stitched. 15 dies for $41. Honestly, good deal. And so I've just added it on. It's not a perfect layering on. Works for me, though. I'm quite happy with it. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on to pop it up. And if you've got leftover edges to your dimensionals, you can literally tear these guys off. You don't even need to pull the little hexagon pieces out. And then this circle allows for some of the pattern paper to point and protrude out the bottom, which I think is kind of nice. And then I'm going to add my iridescent rhinestones. Love these guys. They take up the color of whatever it is your paper is in the background. So they look pink and yellow on the sheet, but once you add them with other things, they just kind of look different shades. Okay, so there's my card finished. The arrow fold card, super easy and fun. Next week, can you do those videos on the patio? Wow, I don't know. Not sure about that. Getting me set up down here is one thing. And then the inspiration from it all from my friend Lisa, and you'll see I deconstructed Lisa's card so I could figure out what the measurements were. And my swap card for my team, which has now disappeared from view. There it is, with this pretty paper. So now this celebration stuff, folks, some things I've already discontinued and they won't be available through the end of the promotion, so it's good till August 31st for whatever promotional items are still left. There's lots of this paper that I saw. This paper comes with a matching stamp set, and so it's at the $120 level, but this paper's at the $60 level. So let me know how I can help you with that. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.